So far we have seen different types of numericals about different types of financial statements. We see how to do, what to do, why to do, but we have never used those statements to analyze something. Okay. So overall we have some objectives for preparing those statements, right? So why do we prepare them? What are different categories? What is the scope, functionalities, and various about some stuff which is already prepared. Okay, so for that we are going to see why we okay, so all the techniques, categories, and all about this financial statement analysis. So today our thing is like we have some prepared financial statements, and using those, what all things we can do, why we do, what is the scope of each things we do, okay, and what is the process or procedure of financial statement analysis. So for all this we are going to see different topics under that. So we are going to see the introduction of that. Okay, now whatever the topics that I'm saying now, in the coming videos we are going to choose each of them, and we are going to understand each of that topic in depth. Okay, so today it is like an introductory of what we do in the analysis of the statements that are already prepared. Okay, now first, what is the meaning of financial statement? So it is simply a summary of all the thousands and lakhs of accounts in organization. What is the state of it? What all happened throughout any financial year or any given period of time. Okay. Next, what is the characteristic? So if you're going for the financial statement, because there are some features available in that. So features are nothing but characteristics. So understandability, relevance. So what is relevant? Okay. If you are doing or creating a financial statement, it is not based on some kind of assumptions. Okay, like we do have in marketing. Okay, we do have some prerequisites. Okay, audience are from this background, so they must have been behaving this kind of behavior they have. So there will be some assumption in each of the things. Okay, even in economy we see various assumptions. So this financial statement is based on facts and figures. Okay, so here exact numericals we deal with. So that's why it is completely relevant to the organization. So what had happened in that organization and what we are seeing in the statement must and should be the exactly same, keeping aside the thing that we do mistakes. Okay, now reliability. If we are creating a financial statement today, it is not like only for this next 1 month it is going to be providing value to anyone who is seeing that. No, so even after 10 years, if you want to know what is the uh, state or what was the trend in the 2020, we can see the financial statement corresponding to that year and we can come to. So it is completely reliable. Now comparability. Okay, so here comparability is nothing but not comparison between profit and loss, balance account. Not only this, okay, we can compare in between the organization, in the organization among different departments, or we can compare organization belonging to the different niche of the market. So we can use financial statement nearly for anything. Okay, now how and why, that we are going to cover. Scope of financial statement. So if you are using, how much value or how much it is sufficing our requirements. Okay, it tells about the financial positions, performance, changes in financial position. So this is nothing but a trend. And then supplementary schedules. Okay, so it helps us in taking the decisions which is related to risk and uncertainties, and in general as well, if you want to do something innovative, something more. So what is the current happening, all that thing, all that decision making can be done with the help of financial statement. Next we have, okay, so if you have seen, we have n number of financial statement, but we overall talk about profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow statement. Why? Because if you want to know the cash flow statement, of course P&L and the balance sheet must have prepared. Similarly, if you are talking about P&L account, profit and loss account, there are some prerequisites for that, like journal, ledger, trial balance. So it's like we talk about these three on the major level. Okay, so what happens in we are going to see what is P&L account, what is the balance sheet. But our intention of reading what are those is to identify what is the relation between these major financial statements. Okay, so profit and loss. If you know about what kind of accounts we have, okay, personal, real, nominal. So about all expenses and losses, all gains and incomes, we talk in profit and loss account. So we can say that all the nominal accounts, all the transactions related to nominal accounts, we consider under the profit and loss accounts. So here we follow the golden rule saying debit all the expenses, credit all the incomes is income. So this is not nothing but the golden rule of nominal accounts. So here we see what is the profit and loss, that is the net profit in the financial period, how much amount came in the debit side, how much amount came on the credit side. So based on that, whether we are in negative, whether we are in positive. Again, it is not like if P&L is in negative, that doesn't gives a negative image to an organization, because not only the net profit, but there are a number of other things which are considered by the actual analyzer. Okay. Now, what are the components we analyze in profit and loss? One is the administrative expenses. So, we can say these expenses are nothing but it is not directly placed on the line of manufacturing, but it is the reason behind the line of manufacturing, like transportation department, HR department, management. So, all those expenses done on the department we consider as administrative expenses. Similarly, selling and distribution expenses, other income, other expenses, cost of goods sold. So, this is nothing but some amount we kept to buy some stock, and we did some pre-processing. Okay, and now we took it to somewhere else and then we sold. So all the expenses in between are nothing but the cost of goods sold, financial charges, income tax paid, prior period comparative. So these are different components under P&L account, but our intention is to compare the P&L and the balance sheet. So if we know what is P&L, we talk about balance sheet. So balance sheet deals about the assets and liabilities. Okay, and its golden rules is what comes in debit them, what goes out credit them. So here we talk about only our real account. So here if you see, liabilities is nothing but the total liabilities and the equity. Okay, so if you don't know what is the equity, please refer the numerical thing that we did for the balance sheet. I will show you that summary in a moment as well. Now, coming to the relation between the balance sheet and profit and loss account. Okay, so if you have done the numerical, you already know it. But if you know, if you have not done, that is fine. So if we see in balance sheet, this is our total asset. Okay, this is our total asset, and this we can say our conclusion of all the asset. Similarly, the intention of the balance sheet is to make sure that our total liability is equal to the total asset. Okay. Now, total liability is nothing but sum of our equity and liability. So, here you see equity is nothing but it includes net profit. Now, where are we getting net profit from? Net profit we are getting from the, if you see this amount 75,700, we are getting this from the profit and loss account. Okay, so here you can see 7. So this is one of the relation, that whatever the net we are getting from the P&L, we are considering that as a part of equity, which is used under verifying that our total liability is equal to our total asset or not. If this is the case, then we can say what our calculations we did so far is fine. So that was one relation. And the next relation, if we can see, okay, balance sheet provides financial statement, a snapshot of a company at a given time, any profit, dividend. Okay, so if you can see that suppose our net profit is 1,000 rupees, and in balance sheet we are writing net profit as 800. So what happened to the remaining 200? Is there any information provided that 200? If yes, then fine. If no, then we consider that 200 is divided among the shareholders of the company, which is nothing but our dividend. Let me repeat this, because whatever our earnings or net profit is, okay, that net profit, if I can show you this in P&L, our net profit is nothing but our net profit is equal to retained earnings plus dividends. Now here suppose 1,000 rupees is our net profit. In that I wanted to use 800 for the growth of company in the future. So that 800 will be known as retained earnings. Now remaining 200 if I divide it among the shareholders, that I call dividends. Now how can I say what percentage how much amount is sent to dividend, how much is retained earning? Is net profit is 1,000, but in the balance sheet I have included only 800. So in net profit I can see the difference of 200 when considering in the balance sheet, because that 200 is I have given to my shareholders in the form of dividend. So that's how, that is one of the relations which helps us to identify the dividend amount that is given to the shareholders. Next is amount shown as cash or bank under asset on balance sheet. Okay, so because balance sheet is nothing but which deals with all the assets and liabilities. So these assets which is dealt in the balance sheet, transaction related to that assets will be dealt in the P&L accounts. Okay, not all the transactions, but yeah, partially. So that was some of the relation between the balance sheet and profit and loss account. Now financial statement analysis. Okay, first is what is the need for financial statement analysis. So why we need financial statement analysis is because we want to find the trend. We want to compare ourselves with our competitors. We want to compare ourselves with our past, with our whatever the status we have as of today. What was the trend that we are coming in from the past till today? Based on that, what is going to be my future? Okay, if I do some new innovative things, what is going to be my effect? So for analyzing, for taking decision, all those things, we go for the financial statement analysis. This was need. Okay, now we are going to use them, implement them. That is nothing but our importance. Okay, so we are going to cover that in a moment. But okay, objective. So why do we know what is the use of financial statement analysis? Now we, if we come across any problem statement, the first thing that we do is we write our objective, and then we see whether this objective can be resolved by the financial statement analysis. If yes, then we go for it. So what are those objectives? It is like it helps in the past and current performance, estimate on the current performance, growth forecast, loan decision. So for loan decision, you can say when you, as an individual, you go for the loan, what they will see? They will see your credit score. Okay, they will, credit score is nothing but CIBIL score. They will see what is our stability as of today, how much income of cash is there, how much outflow of cash is there, what is my balance between an individual's asset and liabilities, am I taken some other loan, do I have to pay insurance? So right, these kind of statements are considered when considering about the individual. Now when we talk about an organization, this financial statement come into picture when we are dealing with organization. Okay, importance of financial statement analysis. Now here, as we see, we have decision making, comparison, negotiation, checking towards. So okay, yeah, all this we have covered already. Now types of financial statement analysis, because we have, like, suppose hundreds of techniques. Okay, now every technique will come under some or the other category. Okay, now on the surface level, what are those categories and how they are divided, that we are going to see here. So types of financial statement is based on materials used, based on modus operandi. Now what is material? Okay, if we say we if okay, we talk about two-person in our material based. Okay, so one is the person who doesn't belong to organization. If I don't belong to organization, and if I try to analyze what is the position, what is the status, what is the trend of an organization, because I want to invest in that company, I want to buy share in that company. So for that I do some analysis. Now if I'm doing analysis, not being the part of the organization, as an external person, I call myself as external analyst, external analyzer maybe. Yeah, so so I am doing the analysis for different cause. Okay, now simply, if suppose there is a group of people whom we call as management, if that management is doing the analysis of the company, now that is, management is part of an organization. So being part of an organization, if you are analyzing, we call them as internal analysis. Now one difference is the cause is the cause or the objective of doing the analysis is different. Second difference is the amount of data that is available to external person and the amount of data available to internal person. Internal person, if he want any kind of data, he will be provided access to that, but external person, no. So whatever the data is available on the net, based on that only we have to do the analysis. But yes, whatever the data is available, it will be legitimate. Okay, now, before moving to the horizontal or vertical analysis, there is one point. There's, suppose we are choosing one technique, okay, and that technique comes under external analysis. It doesn't mean it doesn't comes under vertical analysis, okay. So the technique is categorized. If that is categorized based on the material used, we categorize them as external and internal. And if we categorize them based on method used and time period of study, we call them as vertical or horizontal. So these are two different types of categories. Okay, so we, if I choose a technique, I can say that as an external person, I am doing a vertical analysis. So it comes under both external analysis and vertical analysis. Okay, so what is horizontal analysis and what is vertical analysis? Let me show you an example for now. Okay, so this is just see, okay, this is how we are going to analyze it, but what is the procedure that we are going to cover in the upcoming videos? So if suppose I am talking about revenue of a particular organization during different time zones, means a particular attribute, a particular organization throughout 2018, 19, 20. So how the figures are changing? Okay, if I try to study this, you can see that I am going from 2018 to 19 to 20. It means I am moving horizontally. So I say that it is an horizontal analysis. That's it. Similarly, if I want to see what is the net income of an organization in 2018, how is it changing in 19 and 20? So I am again going horizontally. So that's what I call it as horizontal analysis. Now, how we are going to analysis, that is that is not in the scope of this video, but in the coming video. But for now, we see if you are going horizontal, we call it as horizontal analysis. Similarly, if suppose, yeah, here we are talking about assets and liabilities, means it is a balance sheet. Okay, so balance sheet, our base figure or our main objective figure is nothing but asset and total liabilities. Okay, so in that case we can say that our base figure is total asset. So here in a English statement, how can I say what I am doing is, if my total asset is worth 10 lakh, how much? Okay, so this total asset is made out of all these attributes. So if total asset is this, how much contribution to this amount is done by cash? That is this much amount. How much contribution is done to the total asset by the total current asset is nothing but this amount. Okay, now here we are going vertically. Okay, if I want to see this is my total liability and how much notes payable attribute is contributing towards my total liability, so in that case I go vertically. Okay, so if I am going vertically, I call it as a vertical analysis. Right, now where do we use vertical, where do we use horizontal, that we will understand after seeing how to solve them. Okay, so that was our based on time period of study. So when we are doing horizontal, we are considering different time zones, and in vertical analysis we are considering different attributes. Now techniques of financial statement analysis. Okay, so these are the techniques under which we have sub techniques which are categorized under based on this flowchart. Okay, now cross sectional analysis. So if you don't know the meaning of inter or intra, okay, so inter means among the organization. So if I'm talking about one organization, in that organization account A is having this much, account B is having this much. So that's how if I'm comparing within the organization, that is called inter-firm compensation, I mean comparison. Okay, but if I'm comparing my organization with my competitor organization or different organization, that I call it as an intra-firm comparison. Okay, so we use time series analysis for the intra-firm comparison, and we use cross-section analysis between inter-firm comparison. Okay, now cross-sectional come time series analysis. So by the name itself, we can say that it is an hybrid of first 2 points. Now what are the techniques available in that? One is comparative financial statement. So the best example that I can give is, suppose my company is there in India and its financial statements will have money in terms of INR. Correct? Similarly, if I have a branch in other country, the financial statements of that country will be in form of, suppose, dollars. So before doing any financial statements, I need to convert them into a comparative format. Okay, so for that I'm going to use some techniques to bring both of them in such a way that I can compare. Okay, here it is 10, here it is 15, means 15 is more, because they are the units they are written is in the same. So that was just an example. So here we use techniques so that financial statements can be compared. Okay, common size analysis. So this is nothing but our vertical analysis and horizontal analysis. So here we see based on the percentage. So if you have seen in the Excel sheet, here we are converting everything into percentage. So these percentages are used for common size. So here we are bringing different amounts in, one will be in tens, one will be in lakhs, one will be in crores. So we are bringing all them in a percentage, that is a common size. Okay, keeping something as a base, like keeping something as 100%, we are bringing all the other into a common scale. So that is common size of statements. Now fund flow analysis. So if you know what is profit and loss account, there we are focusing on our nominal accounts, that is expenses, losses, gains. So it only talks about them. But coming to fund flow analysis, it not only talks about where the cash is coming from, what all stuff, what is the cash inflow, what is the cash outflow. It talks about the sources of cash. Okay, it talks about if there is a asset called cash in hand, now where this cash come from. So it also talks about the, what I can say, transactions or money related cash flow with respect to the assets as well. So overall, the intention behind the fund flow analysis is to get the data which is more or combination of P&L and the balance sheet. So it provides as much data as combinedly both profit and loss account, and balance sheet. But of course, they have their own uniqueness. Fund flow analysis have its own uniqueness. Okay. Now ratio analysis. So if I say that my interest by asset is not ratio is 1 by 4. So here I can say for every interest by what did I say? Interest by income, let's say. So interest by income is 1 by 4. So I can say here, because my ratio is 1 by 4, so every 4 parts of income that I am getting, out of that income, one part of my income is going to be paid as an interest. So this was very simplified. Okay, but if I say 1,000 was my income, 250 was my what the interest need to be paid. Now as this figures differences goes bigger and bigger, it becomes difficult to analysis. Okay, that's why we try to convert them into ratio. And this ratio analysis is not about only converting. Okay, but we have different like nearly hundreds of ratios. Okay, asset by profit, asset by profit, or we can say income by liability, or we can say uh, like that. Oh, okay, this much is my asset, this much is how I am paying my interest. So what is the conclusion of that? Like that, we have nearly hundreds of ratios, so we are going to study that. And next we have percentage change analysis. So if you have seen in common size statement, we have seen that we are converting everything into excel, I mean everything into percentage, and then we are comparing. So that we are focusing on the percentage. Like suppose last year my profit was 1,000, now it is 200. So I can say my profit has increased from 100% to 120%. So that was percentage. But in this, we talk about percentage change. So it means I will say that 20% increase or 20% decrease rather than 120%. So it is just one other method. Okay. Now management discussion and analysis. So this is not, this is like okay, for every company, right, there will be an annual report generated like a magazine. Okay, so in that we have a part called management's discussion and analysis. So that part covers is what, that part covers is what was its status or position in the past. Okay, what is its current position, what is its agenda, and what are the plans, or like it is going to open a new branch, or whether it is going to upgrade its technology. What is its plan to reach from the current position to its mentioned aims and objectives for the future. So all the discussion based on financial statements. Okay, it is not like what they are saying has nothing to do with their financial statements. It will be in correlation with the figures. So based on that, they will decide, or we can say they are discussing, or they are exposing what is their plans based on these financial statements. Okay, now process of financial statement analysis. This is our final topic. So what we are going to see is, when we know, okay, what is the importance, scope and everything, what is the process. So first we try to see, okay, what is my problem. Okay, based on that problem I try to write the objectives. Okay, so this is the requirement, this is the requirement, this is the requirement. Then we see whether the objectives of financial statement analysis can resolve my query. If yes, then we write our objectives according to each of the analysis. Okay, after we write this, we see either I am doing analysis as an external person, as an internal person, because based on that my data is going to vary, and I'm going to get data from different sources. So we then collect for data. Okay, we then go for data collection. Next is we do data processing. Now the example of data processing is we have studied just a moment back, that is comparative financial statement. So this is just an example where we try to bring financial statements in different form of currency into a common form, so that it becomes easy for comparing. So that is one of the data pre-processing technique, or I can say, okay, processing technique. Next we have analysis and interpretation of data. So here we use ratios, charts, bar graphs to analyze. Okay, now based on our conclusion, we go for different visual representation, which we use for getting across a conclusion and recommendations. Now, based on this presentation, we get certain feedbacks, whether it was good, or whether it is correct, or whether we are not satisfied with the facts, or number of years considered to come to a certain recommendation or certain decision. Based on those feedbacks, we do the follow-up action. Now, this follow-up action can result into a again jumping to the second or third, and we repeat the steps again and again until we in the sense the presenter and the management, everyone comes into a uh, common lock. Okay, yeah, now this is our final decision. So once decision, until the decision is not made, this process goes on and on and on as per the requirement. So finally, one conclusion and recommendation is formed. So yeah, that was all the topics in depth we are going to cover in the coming videos. So this was our introductory videos of what all are the topics in the analysis part. So if you have any queries with respect to this introductory part, please write down in the comment section. And if you liked my explanation, please do subscribe and share. That's it for today. Thank you.